joined me at a very interesting time. I'm in the garage, and if we look around in our little handheld camera, there's no bike in the garage. The bike table's up against the wall there, against the Stirling board, because I'm still renovating the house, but that's by the by. All the little plastic bags that had nuts and screws and clips and things, they're all empty. The only bits left over are broken bits. Apart from that, which I lost and had to tap out to M6 and cheat, but there you go. What am I going to do now? I don't even have the PDF on my laptop. Let's go outside. So here we have our mighty Malaysian Modernist KR1S, or Chris as it's known, little baby cousin of the MotoGP KR1S that Kenny Roberts used to ride even. That's 25 years old now, well 24 registered just due to manufacturing and important things like this. That is one of the most fun bikes I have ever had. And if we look over here, you'll see there's a Honda SH300i. Now, I'm not going to get too close, just here for a moment so as you can see it in the camera. It has been raining. It's all wet. It has also been out on the road. And for the first few minutes, it was an absolute hoot. And driving exactly as an SH300i should drive. And then, if we look down here, there's oil. The oil was in the final drive, the casing. There's not supposed to be oil in the final drive casing. That's supposed to be where the dry belt is. So, guess what? It's going back in the garage. First, I'm actually going to give the underside of it a good wash because there was quite a lot of oil spattered over the tyre and various other things. Then I'm just going to go back in the garage here. Here we go, back in the garage. And go back to that camera. So, it's going back in the garage. We need to split the belt drive and find out where the oil has come from. There are only two oil seals. There's an oil seal on the end of the crankshaft, and there's an oil seal on the final drive shaft which goes out to the gearbox and the wheel. One of those is brand new. One of those, the final drive one was replaced, so I could have nipped it or twisted it. And the crank one was original because I didn't see any evidence of it leaking. The only other possibility is that the crankcase ventilation is blocked and is forcing oil past the crankshaft oil seal. But we'll have a look, we'll take it apart, we'll see what we need to replace, because if the belt's contaminated, I know, because I know it was slipping on the ride back home. Because of the location of the clutch, I think it'll probably be alright. So if I can get away with just buying a new seal for something and a belt, I'll be very happy. So we'll leave it there for now until I get ready, and we'll be back to you possibly today or tomorrow. Bye for now. I've given the bike a wash just to get rid of any oil underneath there. The bike's back up on the stand. I've loosened all the drive belt cover bolts off. They're all out bar one. So what we'll do is pull that out, take the drive cover off, and we'll have a look and see what's going on in there. So what I'll do is I'm going to set one of the cameras up static so as it can see into where we are at, and I'll use the handheld cam as well. So let's go for that if you give me a couple of seconds. Okay, so you can see the drive casing here. All of these screws bolts are loosened off, so there's only this one in here now. So we'll take this out, stick that to one side, and we'll have a look and see what's going on in here. Just assuming it'll come apart. That's all out, that's all out. Mind if we give it a tap with a hammer. There we go. And that's full of oil in there. Fortunately, you can see that's full of oil as well. See the nice oily sheen. So, what we need to do is find out where that's coming from. So, the clutch will release all of this mechanism, and this bolt will release this. There's oil in there. Now, I'll switch to the handheld camera here, and I'll get some extra light. A couple of things to note. Number one, this oil is very black. There is new oil in the final drive, which is behind here. Okay. There is oil way in there, which is, if you can see this, this is fairly well protected from the rest of the casing. So the only way oil could get in there is, it looks like it's from the crankshaft oil seal, which is the only oil seal I didn't change. Now, the clutch looks dry. The back of the rear pulley looks dry. So I am hoping, now, there's definite oil contamination on that pulley, and there is definite oil contamination on that pulley. And bring this back a bit so maybe you can see better. I think, can I get in to see there? No, I can't. But I think my crankcase oil seal is gone. Sorry, my crankshaft oil seal is gone. So let me get all of this off, and we'll have a look. That belt, unfortunately that belt is brand new. It's a new, lovely new Gates belt. I doubt that's going to be recoverable. I don't think the clutch is contaminated because there's no oil on the outside here. I'm not going to stick my finger into the clutch because I don't want to get oil in there. So, looks like the culprit's in there somewhere. Let me take some stuff off and we'll have a look later, bearing botherers. Okay, peeps. We've got a very, very oily belt case here, which isn't a good thing at all. This is going to be a case of possibly you're going to have to believe me, but this oil seal, flush at the top and not flush at the bottom. So this oil seal isn't seated right. Now, I am either
I'm very annoyed with myself because that's a silly mistake to make. I don't believe I made that mistake. I don't know whether to get a new oil seal. I really should get a new oil seal. I really should get a new oil seal. I don't know if that's been nipped or something on the way in. I am pretty certain that I would have seated that oil seal properly, so I don't know how that has happened. Anyway, can you see from a better angle anywhere? Yeah, look, it's a good 2mm out at the bottom. You can maybe see it better there. How sad, too bad. There's the cause of my problem. I'm going to have to clean this case up of oil. I'm going to have to clean the driven surfaces of the pulleys up of oil, and get a new belt, and check the oil in the final drive, and we'll take it all from there. So for now, I'm going to have to put things on hold until I get some parts. So bye for now. This is just a little bit of extra video before I put the rear wheel back on. This is the other oil seal on the final drive. So the one that's failed is on the input shaft. This is the other one, which is on the output shaft. It goes to the axle for the wheel itself. This is a much more robust oil seal. Than the one that's on the input shaft. This is also very similar to the new one that I've got for the input shaft. So I'm fairly confident that the problem we have is the incorrect seal. So there you go. I'm going to put the wheel back on now. I'll take some stills as well so you can look at this in a bit more detail. Back soon.
Okay, all my parts have now arrived. New drive belt and a new seal. Slower than expected, but there you go. It's now, I ordered on Monday, it's now Friday and I've got everything, but there you go. I'll switch to the handheld camera for a moment and just show you the new seal in place, and then I'll show you the final drive pulley and clutch. So bear with me while I switch cameras. Here we have the final drive input shaft. The pulley is on there just because it's a convenient place to put the pulley. That will be coming off to put the belt on. Everything in here has been cleaned with brake and clutch cleaner because it really was bogging, and there's the oil's all out of it. But if we look here, here's our new seal. There's not a lot to see. I can describe it as, well, you can see it's brown, but it's a much more robust seal. I've also made sure it's properly seated this time, and it's actually below the taper to enable you to start it off seating it properly. So that's fine. The rear wheel is back on, exhaust, all that sort of thing. The breather for this final drive, which is literally a tube that goes up into the air filter, polyurethane plenum, it goes up in there, has been thoroughly checked and it is not blocked. There's no pressure trying to blow the seal out. So what I'm going to do now is we'll go over to the main camera and we'll have a look what we have to do with the clutch. So bear with me a second. So here is our final drive pulley on the clutch. Now again, everything in there was thoroughly cleaned with brake cleaner. This, there was very little if any contamination on the clutch itself, which is here. There's the bell housing there. But what I did have to do was get this boyo here off, so as I could separate the clutch and get the two halves of the pulley across. So now, in the words of Crocodile Dundee, that's a socket. Anyway, that fits on there. Undo that, tighten everything, yeah, you know where we are. Anyway, so that's been all apart. The only thing I need to do with this now, this goes back on here, and then goes on to the final drive, is I just want to put a little bit of grease into that wee needle roller bearing there. There is actually an oil seal in front of it. So the thing you can see here is actually an oil seal, but I just want to put a wee bit of grease on that wee bearing. And then what you do is you fit the belt to this, fit this to the bike, then put the front pulley on, and that's how you do it. Anyway, so we'll put a wee bit of grease in that, get my hands cleaned up, and then we'll carry on. Now, that's that done. I do need the grease in a moment, so I'll leave that there. And we'll get a wipe our hands and then wipe the face of that. So, that's that done. Here's our new belt. And yeah, it's a generic belt, nothing special about it. We'll just check to see, make sure there's no arrows, nothing there. Set that down. No instructions, put the belt on, there you go. Yep. So, right, let me move a camera so you can see. Give me a moment. Right, so I'll just put this on temporarily there. I want to get the belt around it before I go any further. So basically you fit it like that, and then what we'll do is we'll put the outer pulley on that. Once it starts to push the belt down the taper, it tightens everything up, so everything's a nice fit in there. Make sure you keep everything clear of oil and grease. So I need the clutch bell, which is this. Basically this doesn't drive. I don't know if you can see the spline here. This pulley drives this pulley. This pulley will then do nothing until this centrifugal clutch kicks in, which actually transfers the drive to the shaft. So that will then drive this shaft and drive the final drive. So I'll just, if you just give me a moment, there's a wee free dangle here. I just need to give a bit of a clean and get a bit of black grease for it, and that just supports this end of the shaft in the final drive casing, and then we'll tighten the nut up. So give us a wee moment. Okay, so this is now fitted, this is now torqued up. So what I need to do now is fit this pulley and get it torqued up as well. A couple of things I need to do. What I found before when fitting this pulley is you have to keep turning the engine over to get the belt to move up the cone. So let me see, where's my bolt? That bolt's 14. So we just need, where does that go? Everything goes this way. I need to turn this in the same way as the engine as well, so I just need to remember that. And yes, so that's 14. I need to do that, and I just need to check the torque settings, and it's 83, which is a fair hefty old torque. That's that set. So we need a couple of 14 mil sockets on a ratchet. So there we all are. Now, where am I? There's here. I find this really fucking footery to get on. It's just to get it onto the splines. Hang on, there isn't a dot. Nope, no big spline. So it's just a matter of wiggling this in. Ah, dear. There it goes. Now, I'm actually going to take my gloves off, because I remember from last time I did this was fiddly as fuck. So, Right, so that's locked up now, so what I need to do is get my big locking tool and torque it up properly. So here's one I prepared earlier. Sorry, this takes a bit of a faff to get the right place. Dee 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 dee. Which may in fact be about there. So that's perfect right there. So here we go. Need an extension. So that's it, folks. It's back together. Casing on. Start it up and see how she goes. And hopefully there's no slip. I wonder, hold on a wee second. There we go. There's no nasty vibrations or anything. Just a nice bit of drag on the clutch, that's all I want. That seems to be doing everything nicely. I think what I'll do is I'll just check the torque on this again, and we can put the final drive case back on and we're good to go.
Good morning. The bike has been out for a few little test runs, and it's fighting me all the way. We had a little incident at the filling station yesterday, which fortunately is only about 500 meters from my home. Went down, filled her up with petrol, went and paid, came back, flat battery. So had to walk home and get the cheap Chinese lithium starter pack, and away it went, and it got me home all right. On investigation, yes, there's charge voltage. The battery is charging, but as soon as you take the charge voltage off it, it starts to discharge fairly rapidly. I can safely assume that the 6 months it stood from I started fixing the final drive to finishing it a week or so ago has killed the battery. I have no idea what state the battery was in when I bought the bike, but there we go. How sad, too bad. I'll take this opportunity, and you can see here the black one on the left is the original battery. Well, it's the battery that came with the bike. I'm going to put a lithium battery in for two reasons. One, I get them traded, and they're not hugely more expensive than a lead acid, about twice the price of a lead acid battery. And two, I put one in the little cub thing a year, 18 months ago, and do you see when you're leaving a bike for 3-4 months, going back and starting it, going away, coming back, going away, coming back, and it's not getting regular use? It's fantastic. So I'm just going to put one of those in, forget about it. I do have one of these lithium compliant keeper things, so I'll use that as well. And that's where we are. In terms of the bike, it's running very well. It's riding beautifully. I have done just over 12 miles. I know it's not a lot, but the weather's been fairly terrible. It's due to be good again on Friday, so hopefully I'll get out for a longer run then, and give it a bit of a hoke, as I would say here. Keep her lit. Right, so I'm going to put this battery in. I'm not going to show you me putting a battery in, because you can all put a battery in. This will be the end. This is the end of this video. Hopefully it's the end of the build video. The next thing I have to play with is a little Lister static engine, so we'll be doing that. Speak to you soon, people. Bye.